it continues to rise as the ratings continue to fall at MSNBC. I'm sure fanboys of the Wicked Weave, also known as Joy Reid's husband, could you imagine? Could you imagine being married to Joy Reid? You go to bed one night laying next to a blonde woman. You wake up the next morning laying next to a balding beauty. Oh shit, how did a dude sneak into my bed? I'm sure Joy Reid's husband will claim that ratings at MSNBC are declining because they fired his balding wife. But that would not make sense because MSNBC continues to fill the needs of lonely dudes who prefer bald women. They replaced Joy Reid with Simone Sanders, a lovely woman who recently failed to make headlines when she announced that she was leaving the Democratic Party, which is one of the main problems right now at the network. Say what you want about Joy Reid. One thing I have never taken away from her is her ability to generate controversy. Joy Reid knew how to get people talking. Joy Reid knew that in this business, you either want to be loved or you want to be hated. Her passion for evil pretty much guaranteed that it was going to be the latter. But that's fine. That's fine because you want people feeling something, whether it's love or hate. You want the audience to feel something when they watch you. Right now, MSNBC has a roster of people who generate indifference, and it's one of the reasons that their ratings are struggling. Think about it. Think about it. Outside of the firing of Joy Reid, how often have you heard about MSNBC in the last 2 or 3 months? I see headlines and stories about CNN damn near every day. Fox News, ESPN. Hell, every now and then, I even see headlines about News Nation, home of Chris Cuomo. Hey, it's me, Chrissy C. But lately, I have barely heard anything about MSNBC. Their biggest star, hell at this point Rachel Maddow is their only star in prime time. Rach has been doing them a favor by showing up to work 5 nights a week. She even took a $5 million pay cut. She drastically increased her workload. And this network is still struggling to draw flies to a fresh turd in the key demo. Back in November, John Scarborough and Mika Bazooka, they were dominating the headlines. For a while, we were talking about them multiple times a week here on the channel. We are almost 3 months into the year. I have almost forgotten that The Morning John was still on the air. Even though they are struggling to generate interest, I don't think that's the main reason MSNBC is struggling in the ratings. For years, Fox News has been the network for conservatives, while MSNBC has been the proud home for deacons at Woke United Methodist. Well, Casey, what about CNN? Who calls CNN home? Well, CNN's been the place where mainstream media careers go to perish. If you look at the burial plots in the woke cemetery, the vast majority of them were buried after working at CNN. For years, though, MSNBC has been the home of the woke fungus. And look, it's a strategy that's worked well for them. For a while, it was very profitable. But something happened in November that caused a serious problem for MSNBC. It's a problem that I don't think they expected, and it's a problem that they have not been able to overcome. On that first Tuesday in November, in the year of our Lord 2024, America rejected the woke fungus, and ever since, it has been a constant struggle for MSNBC. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's get to the sponsor for today's video, Serta Shame. Have you ever wanted to tell a politician exactly what you think of them, but in a way that's safe, effective, and funny at the same time? Well, now you can with Serta Shame, the ultimate way to hold politicians accountable and have a good time while doing it. From Johnny B. Biden to cackling Cam Harris, AOC, Nancy Pelosi, Serta Shame lets you send custom comedic certificates to the politicians who piss you off. Whether they have been lying, lazy, or downright incompetent, Serta Shame has you covered. Want to call out the liar in chief or maybe award a mass invasion maestro? Serta Shame has dozens of options for every broken promise or incompetent blunder. Here's the best part. These personalized participation awards, they are mailed directly to the politician of your choosing anonymously. It is the perfect way to vent your frustrations and let them know that you're pissed off without ever having to say a word. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL10, BTL10. Save 10% off your first certificate with Serta Shame. Last week was an absolute disaster for MSNBC. Now, in all fairness, it was a down week throughout cable news. Fox News saw their ratings decline, same with CNN. But the problem for MSNBC, they saw declines on top of declines. Last year, MSNBC's ratings were down 20% during the day and 32% in the key demo. Ratings were down 3% in prime time last year and 14% in the demo. Last week, MSNBC managed to outperform last year's declines by being down 1% in prime time and 2% during the day. Well, KC, what's the big deal? Their ratings were basically flat. Yeah, that's true. And look, their overall ratings are still respectable. MSNBC averaged 1.1 million in prime time and 635,000 during the day. But here's the problem. MSNBC continues to see drastic declines in the 25 to 54 demo. They averaged less than 100,000 during prime time, a decline of 12%. 56,000 during the day, a decline of 10%. Across cable, MSNBC has dropped to 17th place in the key demo. They are no longer competing with Fox News. Hell, they are no longer competing with CNN. At this point, I don't know if MSNBC is even competing with News Nation. Their demo ratings have gotten so bad, MSNBC is now tied with something called TV Land. TV Land? What the hell is a TV Land? Better yet, what captivating programming is being broadcast on TV Land that is damn near beating MSNBC? Out of curiosity, I had to check their schedule. I had to know what was so alluring that was drawing people away from the super nerd Chris Hayes. I had to know what was so captivating it was causing people to quit watching Larry O'Donnell, who I believe is in the middle of a passionate vacation right now with his pretend wife Rose O'Donnell. My inside sources, they are telling me that Larry ended up bringing his supersized host on that vacation. He was hoping to experience a breakthrough. He was hoping Rose would let him fertilize the garden. But if I had to guess, the fertilizer remains in the hose. But anyway, check the schedule for TV Land to see what MSNBC is competing with. During the day today, TV Land aired hours of The Andy Griffith Show, a show that was canceled almost 20 years before I was born. Tonight during prime time, TV Land is running a marathon of Everybody Loves Raymond, a show that was canceled 20 years ago. Now, I don't know if everybody loves Raymond, but I know someone who doesn't, MSNBC, because that bastard Raymond is stealing their audience. Let me show you another reason why no one is watching this dump of a network. Over the past couple of weeks, there have been countless attacks on Tesla dealerships across the country. Deacons at Woke United Methodist, they are doing what they do best. They are exercising their right to peacefully protest by setting vehicles on fire. If there is one thing I know about the deacons, they love to roast a supersized wiener over a car fire. According to the Trumper, these attacks on Tesla dealerships, these are acts of domestic terrorism. It's kind of hard to argue that point when they are consistently happening at random locations across the country. But according to super nerd Chris Hayes, these are not violent attacks. This is a remarkable demonstration of organic protest. Watch for yourself.
There's something really remarkable happening right now. We're seeing this organic bottom-up movement against Musk's signature company, Tesla. Some activists just put up a website with a simple message, right? Sell your Teslas, dump your stock. And then an entire Tesla takedown movement has sprung up in response. They've got a map where all the protests are planned all across the country. It's been happening for about a month. This weekend alone, there are more than 100 protests planned at dealerships, Tesla dealerships across the country, from Brooklyn to Toledo, Dallas to Grand Rapids, Raleigh, dozens more. There are even, as you might see there, a handful planned in Canada and the UK. And I'm going to tell you something. I wager next weekend there will be even more, and the weekend after that more.
Remarkable? Did the super nerd just call this remarkable? Did the super nerd just claim that these protests are just springing up across the country? Let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly. MSNBC expects me to believe that these attacks against Elon Musk are just random. These are just random citizens who are strolling through the city. They are suddenly hit with an urge for grilled wiener, so they spontaneously decide to use a Tesla as their grill. My inside sources are telling me that they were riding through the streets of Kansas City yesterday. They saw a group of deacons from Woke United Methodist saying grace over a burning Tesla before they consumed the woke wiener. So I guess MSNBC expects us to believe that these Teslas, they're just randomly exploding. I was walking down the street the other day and boom! An electric vehicle exploded before my very eyes. I guess I can understand why the mainstream media would believe this. I mean, these are the same people who believe that the earth could spontaneously combust at any moment. Every time they hear a muffler, they hide in their combustion shelter. The problem for MSNBC, no one believes you. People are no longer willing to bite into the shit sandwich. And when people don't believe you, they don't watch you. Once you lose trust with your audience, it is almost impossible to get it back. This is the same network that used to praise Elon Musk. This is the same network that pushed electric vehicles. Now, they are celebrating the explosion of electric vehicles. Last I checked, fires were dangerous for the environment. With all these Teslas burning, we could wake up tomorrow morning and it's suddenly summertime. CNN is now dominating MSNBC in the 25 to 54 demo. And this ratings decline, it can no longer be blamed on the election. This is not viewer fatigue. This is a trend. Question is, how long will this trend survive? How far will MSNBC's ratings fall? You tell me. Also, why do you think MSNBC's ratings are declining? To me, the main concern here is the 25 to 54 demo. MSNBC is losing the most important demographic. It's the reason they fired Joy Reid, but even with her gone, they are still hemorrhaging viewers. Why? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.